Chinese government definitely invests in its people more than Western governments in general. We are in Chengdu, about to enter the metro. One thing about the subway in China is that they have security so that you know you're going to be safe riding the subway. They built like all of this metro in just 15 years. Meanwhile, we got one new station. Not even a whole line, one new station in 15 years in New York City. I just think that Americans and Chinese people need to tell each other how much things cost and that we could have a much better understanding of each other's lives and each other's systems.
I totally got this.
The subways are so quiet here because these doors contain all of the racket. And they hire people to help the passengers get on and off the train. That does not exist in the United States. Especially public services are always going to be understaffed. So that costs 2 yuan. What is that, like 20 cents? Pay $2.90 to ride the subway. And it's more dangerous, more loud, more dirty, and less efficient. I think that Americans can learn a lot coming to China.
So what inspires you to do that?
I think it's the most important thing for Americans to pursue right now. You know, big political issues that are going to affect everyone in the world, because it affects everything. It affects climate change. It affects war and peace. It affects the economy. Learning about China is the most important thing Americans need to be doing right now so that we can build bridges of friendship, understanding, and business collaboration.
China keeps showing up in the American media a lot than previous times.
Let's say China.
So is it suddenly China just come to a point that it has to be paid attention to? It has to be contributed to some of the work peace?
Yeah, because over the past few decades, China has been developing in peace, quietly. And to some of the people in power, they feel like China snuck up on them. And now it has so much more of an economic sway, and it can develop other parts of the world. So this is kind of a threat to the few people who are very rich, who are in power in the United States right now. And so they started going on attack mode against China. The United States Congress just passed a bill to spend $1.6 billion on anti-China propaganda. The only thing that can beat the corporate media is personal experiences. You know, people won't believe what they see on TV if they feel it with their own hands, they see it with their own eyes, they have friends they can talk to.
Somehow you just take me to another deep level of thinking about the systems behind it. I just want to know what kind of factors that are driving you to think about the problems like this.
Americans literally don't understand what socialism means. They think that, oh, there's a McDonald's in China, it's not doing socialism. But the McDonald's here is majority owned by a state-owned conglomerate. It's a very sophisticated system. It has this blend of private and public ownership. It's a very sophisticated system that is helping them align the interests of the profit-seeking companies with their national interests. And it's working really well. Chinese people year after year experience better lives, and they have a high level of satisfaction. According to a Harvard study, we're not asking the Chinese government, do people like you? Americans like the federal government. The answer is no. It's like 35% approval rating, even lower than ever before. And that's because they're not delivering. They're not giving us the things that make our lives materially better. We can't touch these things with our hands. We definitely had the overwhelming majority support of the people, but our system has all these tricks in it. You know, they can run 15 candidates and distract people and split the vote, and the corporations can do funding for advertisements, and it's not really democratic in the end of it. This is what I have devoted a lot of my energy to learning about. I'm not an economist, but I read books. I take all of the sides, and I understand why different people act in different ways, and then I try to share that with my audiences on social media and promote open discussion.